there will be an opportunity to ask some questions from the room, and we are very grateful to have Matthew Barden and Zoe Dendle with us to respond to those questions.
Hi, thanks for that. Debbie Georgopoulos from the Women's Housing Company. I wanted to ask what the link is between the evaluation and the unit costing work and the recommissioning in 2024.
So the way it's going to work is the unit costing we're trying to wrap up by about March so that it can be an input into the evaluation, which will include an economic evaluation component. And then we'll have those both by about July, and that will inform the approach to recommissioning. So that's how it links together.
And just in relation to the unit costing, is there going to be consideration taken for regional, I guess the difference between metro and regional?
Yeah, so in the initial scoping that FACSIA has done, they've included a sample of both regional and metro services, and through the groups and the opportunities that we'll be sending an email out around, we'd certainly be looking for representation of both to understand any differences in those costs.
You Paul Davey, Newtown Neighbourhood Centre. Are we talking about recommissioning or open tenders for particular projects or schemes?
So I don't have any announcement about the recommissioning approach or timeframes at the moment.
So possibilities could be open tender to across the board or recommissioning ongoing services.
I'm not going to say anything. I just don't want to.
Yeah, so as Matt mentioned, the flow of activities over the coming months will be the unit costing and the evaluation piece. And as Anne mentioned, that's really invaluable to help us capture all of the amazing work that's happening in the sector. So we won't be able to make any sort of advice available on recommissioning until we've gathered all of that information. So advice will follow. I anticipate that you will hear more mid next year around that. But at this point in time, we're really focused on the unit costing and evaluation.
Silly question, of course, but with the groups you're putting together for the unit costing conversations, perhaps this will become clear in the email, but would I be right to be assuming that some of those conversations will be purely about the level of activity, the kind of depth that our work goes into without connecting it to the cost? That'll have some impact on the kinds of people who we would be putting forward for those groups, and some of the people with the best knowledge of the level of involvement, the degree of work that's involved in their day-to-day work won't necessarily be associating that with cost.
Yeah, that's a good point. So one of the things we're going to try and line up after we send the email, and the details will be in there, is a webinar with FACSIA, who actually understand the methodology and how they're going to develop it, so that anyone who's interested can sort of talk to them about how that's going to be done. I'm certainly not the expert on that, but yeah.
Are you able to talk to any connections between the Together Home program evaluations and recommissioning?
I'm not aware of a connection between those. They're separate programs.
So is there any announcements or any information regarding Tranche 4 for Together Home?
Not at this stage. So we've got the 3 tranches of Together Home that are currently in place, and we're undertaking an evaluation as well. And we hope to have findings of that towards the end of the year that we'll be able to circulate to the sector as well.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Fogarty from Macarthur Gateway Resource Services. We're based in Campbelltown, and I just wanted to find out about, we're an Aboriginal specific women's service, and I'd just like to know, is there any anything within that evaluation regards Aboriginal women, children, families that will be noted within that evaluation?
I actually can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. We'll make sure that we put that detail in the email. But also, I know Bron from my team is here, so I might find you in the break, Marilyn, if that's okay.
Okay, and I just want to put out to the members and the attendees today that we will be pulling together a forum for us to have a discussion about this. So ahead of that email, I will send out an opportunity for us to have a briefing, have a conversation, so we can understand what are the questions that are most important to you, that what are the things that are most important for you to consider. And within our team, we have Joshua Greenwood, the lead of partnerships and governance, who also pulled together our submission for the Follow the Dollar and has extensive experience working in New South Wales Treasury and can provide responses and some expertise on this, so we can work together to get some understanding of how we can ensure that your concerns and questions, we can facilitate those to DCJ.